Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing fantastic. And I was watching a video by Ford on Ford's Playground, the channel. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic, actually. Ford does the Phi Tribe channel, which is a channel where they do some binaural beats, plus they do just different healing frequency. It's music with different frequencies for different things. Like a lot of it is in the 432 hertz range, which is your natural. It just vibes with you better. That's just your natural vibration, and subsequent, just oddly enough, a lot of and there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down with this, but the most popular music nowadays is released in a 440 hertz, which is it's kind of a dissonant vibration, dissonant frequency. It doesn't jive with your body's vibration, and there's a conspiracy behind that, and I think that there's a lot of truth to it, because it's like, why is it so that everything has to be in 440 hertz? It doesn't even make sense why. But anyway, but Ford was doing a video and going over going through the 7 Hermetic principles in the Kybalion. And I've mentioned the Kybalion many, many times, and it is kind of, as Ford said, the holy grail, and when it comes to Hermeticism and those things. And I've always been a little bit, I don't want to say intimidated about doing a series of videos or a video or whatever, going through the 7 Hermetic principles. But seeing Ford do it, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, maybe I will. I would like to. I've often thought about it. But anyway, dear loved one, but I did want to touch on the law of vibration, though. So I was kind of inspired to do this when it comes to vibration. But hey, and if you haven't hit the like button yet, please go ahead and do that for me. I would appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that'd be fantastic too. But vibration is part of the illusion, right? It's like whenever I refer to illusion, anybody who's watched any of my videos knows that I believe that the only thing that really, truly exists is mind. It's the universal mind. It's God. And then in that universal mind, it had its I am moment. It had its Big Bang, if you want to call it that. But it had its I am moment, its awakening, and then began creating in its own imagination. And that's where we, and everything that we know of, everything that we consider to be creation, that's where it is. It exists in this mind. And you have mind. You are a divine spark of that creator, of that universal consciousness. It is having an experience through you. It's having an experience through me. And so therefore I have my vibration and you have your vibration, and we're very similar because we're both human, but yours is still very unique to you. But I say that because vibration is part of the illusion. That's how we can differentiate in the illusion. But as I've said, everything vibrates. Everything from gravel all the way up to God. And God, the universal mind, being that infinite speed that we learn from Itzhak Bentov, when you have the sine wave going up and down, and when it gets to the crests, it stops and it's at rest. Or just like when you see a pendulum swing, when it swings, it has that split second where it stops and then swings back the other way, and then stops and then swings back the other way. But that when it's in motion, that's when it's actually vibrating. When it's at that point of rest, it's at rest. And the universal mind is vibrating at such a rate that those points of rest have come together and they are now overlapping, right? To the point where, and it's kind of a paradox, because it's to the point where it is vibrating at such an infinite speed that it is also infinitely at rest, which is a bit of a paradox. But And then the further we, as it emanates its light, the further it gets away, the more the vibration begins to slow down. And somewhere in all that, is us and everything else, right? So that's why I say everything from gravel to God vibrates. And I don't know what will be the slowest vibration. That's why I just say gravel, because I'm thinking that's probably pretty close to it. But, and like your vibratory field is influenced by are the things around you. It's kind of like when you walk into a room, and if the mood of the room or the vibe of the room is just bad, it's just like, ooh, this is not good. It's going to rub off and bring everybody else's mood down. And of course, unless you're conscious of it, if you're conscious and you're aware of it, then you may be able to kind of hold that back. But if you'll notice, if somebody's not really conscious of that, they'll kind of get in that bad mood with them along with it, but that's why mood is contagious unless you're aware of it, of course. But like, even when you get around a bunch of people if you take somebody who's sad and you put them around a bunch of people who are happy and laughing and having a good time, that person is probably going to be uplifted just by being in the presence of all that positive vibration, right? And speaking of rocks, because I mentioned the gravel, like crystals, I've got crystals here around me, right? There's that, and I've got them on here and all that, but they do also influence your vibration because they vibrate at a certain rate. And therefore, when you bring them in your presence, when you bring them close to your field, their vibration is going to have an influence on yours, which that's how they work, right? And also, speaking of rocks, some people are like, well, okay, because some people, I guess it's called panpsychism, but some people are like, well, are you trying to imply that they may be conscious? And I'm like, conscious in a way, like, are they thinking? I don't know. I don't know, but they do exist in the universal mind. So therefore they do exist in the universal mind. So therefore they are consciousness. Now, whether they're conscious to the point where they're actually thinking and, I don't know, but they are having an experience. They do exist in the field. They do exist within consciousness. So therefore they are having an experience. So take that however you want to take it. It doesn't necessarily mean they're thinking. I don't know what to say about that part. But they are having an experience, and they do exist in the universal mind. But, and like, think about how people are with their cars, for example. People will give their cars names. They will give their cars personalities, right? And it's just a hunk of metal, right? It's just a hunk of metal. But then again, it is, just like with the rock and everything else, it does exist inside the universal mind. It is a part of consciousness. So therefore it is having an experience. Now, whether it's thinking and all that, but then again, we do give them personalities, right? So we project a personality onto our cars. Crazy as that may sound, a lot of people do. They name their cars, they give them I had a car. I had a Volkswagen Jetta. That car absolutely that car absolutely hated cold weather. Yeah, more so than, it was bad. It get cold in that car, just, even after you got it started and had it running, it was just like it was riding angry. It was just mad because it had to be out in the cold, I guess. I don't know. It was definitely had some personality, and I don't think I projected that onto it. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, dear loved one. But with the principle of vibration, it says everything moves. Nothing is at rest, except, of course, the universal mind, God. And but it is a paradox because it's like, well, it's infinitely vibrating at an infinite speed, but yet it's also infinitely at rest. That's what separates the big cheese from us. We are in motion. But we also, as It's Dove points out, we also, where we vibrate at that 7 megahertz range, which means it's 7 vibrations per second, which means that we crest twice, per vibration. So it means we crest, we are at rest 14 times every second, which when you are not in motion, you are at that infinite rest, ever so briefly. But nonetheless, by that line of thinking, Itzhak Bentall has concluded that 14 times per second, you basically become infinite or blink out of existence because you're not moving at that point, because the vibration has stopped going up or down. It is at rest at that, not even a split second. But anyway. So anyway, dear loved ones, I was watching that video by Ford on Ford's Playground. Highly recommend that channel. And it got to the point where we're talking about the law of vibration, and I'm like, I just got inspired. I want to get on here and do this. So I scribbled down some notes, and with regard to the rock, everything from gravel to God, everything vibrates. And when you get around certain vibrations, it's going to influence your field. Unless you're aware of that, then obviously you can safeguard yourself from negative influences if you're aware of it. And even then, we're not totally safe from it. That's why it's good to always be aware. And if we feel that it's like, this is dragging me down, this is putting me into a negative state, then it may be best to get away from it. Right? There's that. But anyway, dear loved ones, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do that. If you have not yet subscribed, please do that. And obviously, as always, share, comment, and all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. But besides that, that's what I got for you. I love you, I do, and I'll be back directly.